Randroid's coding hour. A little later today. You guys ready? You ready, my droids? Let's do this. Welcome to the dojo. Still haven't hung that up yet. All right. We're going to do something different today. We're going to, give it away right here. If you can read this. We are going to work on Xamarin Forms conversion to Maui apps. Okay, so what is that? What are we talking about here? Let's get started. For context, we're in the Microsoft world now. So you might be thinking Visual Studio as the IDE. Yes, you wouldn't be wrong. But before we get to that, I want to show you IntelliJ, or I should say JetBrains, has an IntelliJ-like IDE for .NET called Writer. Been out a while, support's pretty good. And so if you're in that world using Android Studio, WebStorm, IntelliJ, whatever, you might want to try this. With that said, we're going to also try out Visual Studio. I want to see what the differences are. And the context is a multi-platform app in the .NET world. So first off, I want to show you if I try to create a new solution, this is after I've installed everything, and I go to multi-platform, or I should say I go to Xamarin. I can create a Xamarin library application or unit test project. If I want to create a Xamarin application, I can give it a name. We'll call this Xamarin Test 1. And this is cross-platform, not just Android, not just iOS. It's cross-platform, and it's going to use Xamarin Forms, not Xamarin Native. And it's going to use .NET Standard, C#, targeting Android 13, sure. Target iOS 16, sure. And resulting project structure will look like this. It's going to create an actual solution file, which we could open up in Visual Studio. Why am I showing you this? Well, as some of you may know, Xamarin is being phased out. We are starting an end of life for Xamarin. Let me show you that. Starting May 2024, Xamarin dead. What is Xamarin? Little history here, right? So Xamarin was an independent company long ago, probably early 2000s, early aughts or something, mid aughts. And they had an idea of what if we open sourced, actually maybe I misremember this, but something about like, what if we open source Microsoft's .NET frameworks, or made a version that's compatible with Mac OS, like Mac Linux systems, right? Not just a Windows machine. At least that's how I remember it. And so you may have heard of Mono, or the old ID Mono Develop that was around for a while. That was from the Xamarin guys. And they basically created Mono, which is the open source version of .NET. Now .NET, Microsoft has pivoted in the last 10 years or so, and they're very much open source friendly, and they've open sourced a lot of their modern tools. So they, at some point, Microsoft bought Xamarin. Around the time Xamarin was working on cross-platform tools for Android and iOS, early days of Android and iOS. And so Microsoft bought them, invested heavily in them, and they created something called Xamarin Forms. And Xamarin Forms was supposed to be a one and done, like easy shared UI across Android and iOS. Not native UI, like it wouldn't be like modern iOS or Android looking kind of thing. But the cool thing about it was you could write it all in C#. So no matter if you're working on the Android side or the iOS side, you'd be writing C#. You'd be using all the .NET tools, the .NET libraries, and it would translate it when it builds or whatever to the proper native files. But you would only have to work in C#. So it was really popular amongst some development shops, especially the ones that use .NET regularly for backend or web. And so that was pretty big for a while. And Microsoft supported it really well in that every time there was a new Android API or iOS API, they would have some kind of, I don't know if it was like, within a month or within a week or whatever. At some point, they had some kind of rule where they would get a version of Xamarin that supported that new API as soon as possible. And so they would adapt different widgets and stuff to a common UI that you could use on Android or iOS. And so it supported a lot of the native features, GPS and photo taking and file storage, all the stuff you'd get from a native app. It supported all that, but you only had to write your code in .NET. Now they also offered Xamarin Native at some point, and that was not shared UI, but shared business logic. And so you could think of Xamarin Forms more like React Native, where it's like using its own widgets, its own UI elements, but all the logic is and all the logic is shared. Whereas another example would be we saw some of my early streams, the new Compose multi-platform frameworks. That's a shared UI and a shared business logic using the Compose and material design, right? Anyways, that's in the Kotlin world. Also, we'll be doing more streams on that in the future. But then there was also, before Compose multi-platform, there's Kotlin multi-platform, which doesn't have the shared UI. It's all confusing, I know. But the point is, if you want to share your business logic, you can abstract that into libraries, whether they could be freaking C++ libraries, and then you can build cross-platform that way, and then just build the UIs natively in iOS and Android using whatever you want, Swift UI, Compose, old school views. But more and more people are going to these like shared UIs as well. They're making everything more like web. Web components often use MUI, not to be confused with MAUI. I always mix those two up. Material UI elements. Anyways, going in circles here. But the point is, Xamarin is going away. It's end of life. And so does that mean there's no more cross-platform support from Microsoft or .NET? No. It means they've completely rewritten things under the Microsoft branding, under the .NET branding. So they're still going to support both shared business logic in what they call, let me just bring it up. It's a nice little graphic I want to show you guys. This is actually the upgrade path, which I really do want to show. Okay, so here's an example. If you had Xamarin.Android, which is the shared library, that's where you'd put the native, or like that's where you'd put anything's native to Android. So like native Android UIs or whatever. Or Xamarin.iOS would be all the native libraries that you could access directly, but in C#. So if you wanted to use an iOS specific framework, but you wanted to write it in C#, you'd use Xamarin.iOS, right? And then if you wanted actual UI, I think you would still have to use, I might have said that backwards, but I think you still have to use like Xcode for the UI. And then in this case, you would still have to use Android Studio for the UI. But if you use Xamarin Forms, you would actually get a shared UI. So they have new versions of this. So for the native stuff, they have what they call, let me find it. Instead of calling Xamarin.Android, Xamarin.iOS, it's now just something.net. Let me see if I can find it. I think there's a better site here. MAUI, by the way, MAUI stands for here we go. MAUI is .NET's multi-platform app UI. MAUI. All right, so it's cross-platform framework for creating native mobile and desktop apps with C# and XAML. All right, so here's the new stack. Okay, so they still do have, I think there's a better picture. Here you go. So now instead of Xamarin.Android, it's .NET for Android and .NET for iOS and .NET for Mac, and WinUI 3 is just the normal UI for Windows. So that's where you get the C# versions of Android libraries or iOS libraries, and then the .MAUI code is what's replacing Forms. That's what gives you the UI. So there are people out there that have Xamarin apps, and at some point they're going to stop working with the Google Play Store and the App Store on iOS. So they're going to have to port over to Maui, or give up on Microsoft and cross-platform, or try a different cross-platform, maybe Flutter, or Compose isn't quite there, but maybe Kotlin multi-platform, and then just write native UIs. So I want to look into the possibility of getting set up with Maui. And so what would that look like? What would that upgrade path look like? And so this talks about how you would upgrade each of these. We're going to go through one of these using an actual project that we get off the internet, some open source Xamarin code. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about what a Xamarin project even looks like. So why am I using Writer here? So we talked about how this creates a Xamarin project from the new solution widget, or startup UI or whatever in Writer. But if I were to do Visual Studio instead, from the Microsoft IDE, we're not so lucky. They've already upgraded it. This is the Mac version of Visual Studio Code, which historically has been pretty bad compared to the Windows version, but maybe it's better. I don't know. Give it another shot. If I were to create a new app here, the new project widget does not have Xamarin anymore. So it's got web stuff, which obviously we don't want here, and then multi-platform is all Maui app or Maui Blazor app, Blazor being their web UI, and Maui libraries. Okay, well, you say, what about iOS and Android? Well, there's an iOS application here, but it didn't say anything about Xamarin. Android application, so these must be using .NET for Android, right? So there is no like quick just getting started new Xamarin file. They're phasing it out, right? And we can find some online, or you can create one with Writer. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm creating one with Writer just so we can look at it. So this is a basic app, nothing in it. Let's run it. Let's build it. Let's run it. Let's see what it looks like. We'll go from there. All right, here we go. Cool. So this might look familiar to anyone in the JetBrains world. Android Studio, we've got your device manager over here, and so I've already got an emulator created for Android, which I can start up, and I could run the Xamarin Test 1 project, the .droid version, or the Xamarin.test1.ios version. Since I have the emulator running for Android, let's do that one first. Shrink this guy. You're too big. Now you're too small. Alright, so I've already installed this earlier. Let's see if this is it right here. No, that's the wrong one. Oh no, I'm jumping ahead. Alright, let's try it. This one I don't think I got. Actually, oops. I dragged my screen off. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Alright, so it's building the Android version. While that builds, let's look at this project structure. So we have a test. I don't know if these aren't called source set in the .NET world, but there's like a Xamarin Test project or solution, whatever it's called, a Droid version and an iOS version. This may look familiar to you guys who watched my Compose multi-platform stream before. So it's kind of what's missing is the common stuff. I'm not seeing any common shared code. It seems like it's all in Android or iOS, which is interesting to me. All right, we'll dig in a sec. Let's see, did that load? It did load. Look at it, it says welcome to Xamarin Forms. So we've got a Xamarin Forms app. Cool. Let's run the iOS one real quick. And then, oops, this one's incompatible. Why? Error running, incompatible, device selected. Oh, no device selected. That would be why. Let's open up Xcode and see if we got to create a simulator. Guessing that's what it is. I could use a Mac agent. I don't want to do that. That's probably like a remote machine that's running devices, simulators. Sure. I will open up this one. Can't tell if it's working or stuck. Ah, it's working. All right, let's just see if we can get an emulator. Here we go. We have an iPhone 15 Pro. Devices, simulators. So we do have these. Maybe I just needed to open this up. Let me go back to Writer and see if it found it. Yep, I just had to open Xcode, it looks like. All right, let's go to a 15. That's the Android one. Let's see if it's building. Let's see if it starts up the iOS device. It did not. What was the error? Application bundle wasn't generated after deployment. Wasn't generated after deployment. What does that mean? Let's see if we can run, I don't even know what project this is. Let's see if we could just run something on a simulator. Get it running. Get a simulator running. Let's got a real device here if we need to test on a real device. How's everyone doing today? Is the stream live? Sound working? Let's see. All right, test. Yep. How's everyone doing today? Loud and clear. All right, did that start the simulator? It did. All right, so once the simulator is running, maybe, just maybe it will work. All right, it's running, and then this might try to launch. Yeah, this might try to launch this test app. All right, I don't care about that app. I want my Xamarin Forms app. Go home. There we go. Okay, back to Writer. Let's try one more time. Now that the simulator is actually running. Is it smart enough? Oh, looks like it rebooted. My fan came on. This thing's working hard. It failed. Application bundle wasn't generated after deployment. Writer issue. This happened to me today on macOS for the release of Xcode 12. So what fixed it for me? This is in 2020. Let's totally uninstall Xcode, read-down the latest version I had installed, v11.6 from Apple Developer. Guess the lesson learned is not to just update Xcode until a few weeks, because I think JetBrains needs to catch up. This is happening again in 2020. Looks like the workaround for now, disabling device-specific builds. Sorry, this is a known issue in 2018, 2022, October 4th. See Writer for the current reason and workaround for this bug in Writer. Basically, the cause of this issue is the writer is generating a build session ID hash incorrectly and there's looking for the wrong directories. As a workaround, add the following target to your project file. Lame. Where is the project file? We have a CS. It's not that. Properties, assembly info. We're looking for XML or XAML. No, it's probably XML. Resources. Don't see it. Is it hidden from me? Choose properties. Xamarin test. Deploy. Any CPU. the droid? Debug iPhone. What if that does something? Debug iPhone. Any CPU iPhone simulator. There you go. Hey, it crashed again. Or no. Yeah, it crashed again. Why are you killing my simulator? Or did it launch another one? Looks like we have two here. Can't tell if this is progress or another issue. What do you think? Chime in the chat. Is it broke or is it gonna work? Oh, it died again. Oh, bunch of red. Connection refused. Socket error. Keep going, keep going. Hey, it worked. All right, let's just do that again. Clear this out. Okay, we got there in the end. Well, that was a really slow load. It didn't restart, did it? It's insanely slow. I wonder if it's because it's trying to debug it. I wonder if breakpoints work. I'm just curious. I'm going off the rails here, but do you think you could put like a breakpoint here? And it's just right when it starts up the UI, though, so that might cause issues. I don't care. I'm going to try it. Let's do it. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Come on, let's hit that breakpoint. Right now it looks like it's disabled. Yeah, that might not be a valid place for a breakpoint. There's no real business logic there. Oh, it worked! We are breakpointing an iOS app in a JetBrains IDE. Now, some of you may be thinking, don't they make an IDE for native iOS 7s? You would be kind of correct. It's called App Code, and it's being retired. I don't think enough people used it, so JetBrains is no longer maintaining it. Probably also really hard to maintain. Apple's not very friendly with their tools, supporting like third-party tools in that case. They probably would release a new version of Xcode and break their stuff every time. Cool. So we are debugging. Not much to look at here. There's some hot reload agent. There's a stack. Nothing on the stack. We don't have any args being passed in. Okay. I'm going to stop debugging. Alrighty. So, a couple other things to test out. What exactly does this look like? Can I open this up in Xcode? Let's start there. Can I open this up in Xcode? Let's see. I don't know what I have open right now, but let's try. Can I get to the solution file? Don't see a solution file. Dependency maybe? Projects, packages, imports, assemblies, implicits. App icon sets. resources. There's a storyboard. Ooh, can I view this storyboard like visually? They don't have a visual representation of storyboards. Sad. Entitlements. Info plist. Back to our main. Okay. This is a very light app. What we'll do is we'll find one that actually has some UI in it and some business logic. See what that looks like. But I wanted to see if there was actually a solution file. So I'm trying to open up this file in our Finder. And let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's right there. So where is this? Get info, grab the path. I guess we could just do this file open, not add. Or let's see, open. So this is in our users directories writer. All right, let's look for writer right here. And Xamarin test. And there's the solution file. Oh, why am I opening this in Xcode? I got confused, sorry. I am curious if there is a file we can open in Xcode, but that's a different question. I guess it would be this. Something tells me this would not open. Well, maybe. Why don't we try it? I'll open. Writer. Xamarin iOS. Okay, so we want to see if this opens. It does not open. Okay. All right. The other thing, what I really was trying to do is open on Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. Too many IDEs, guys, and editors. All right, open. This time we're going. Yeah, sure. Seems to be the easiest way to get there. So I'll go there again. This is the solution file, or this is the ID for this solution file. Let's see if it loads. Did it pop up somewhere I'm not seeing, or is it not loading? Oh, it did pop up somewhere. It's like halfway off my third monitor. There it is. Okay, so we can open up the solution, and if we want to work out of Visual Studio, we should be able to do that. I want to close Writer, just because I don't know if it's going to be happy with running both at the same time or not. So let's try to run the Android one through Visual Studio Code. Or Visual Studio. I keep saying Visual Studio Code. Okay, it opened up the emulator on my other screen. Very large again. It's funny because it's actually shrunk into the bottom corner. But it's only when it was on this monitor. Funny. Oh, right. Shrink. Okay. Deploying the device. All right, so we're just filling it out. We're trying to see if there's any finicky stuff with a basic project, right? This is not adding in any business logic or crazy UI or anything. We want to make sure that if there's any gotchas around the tooling and building and running the app, testing it, we want to make sure that's all good. So yeah, right, we could run in Visual Studio if we wanted to. Now let's just do iOS, just make sure. Looks like it kind of locked up here. Wonder if it's because it's still running. Let's hit stop. Yep, that's why. So if I do debug iPhone instead, that's funny. It allows me to choose the Pixel as the device. Oh, it's because I'm still on Android. There we go. That's a Pro Max. I wonder if we can use the one we already have open. Is it smart enough to see it? Doesn't look like it. But it's going to open another one. Hey, it did do it. Okay. It always gets that black screen though. It's a little scary. Let's see if a... I mean, it could just be the first time, or no, it wasn't the first. We saw it in the second update. Could, but I was gonna say, could just be like a debug thing. Like, what if I just open it like this? Well, it was already open in that case, so that's not a good example. Let's kill it. How do you do that? Swipe. Swipe. There's like Command H. Oop. Command H. Nope, it's not Command H. Command Shift H. Command Shift H. Nope. Yeah, there it is. Double tap. Okay, killed it. Yeah, black screen. It's annoying. Maybe it will... Maybe there's a way to add a loading screen there at least. I wonder what that is. Very weird. And support horizontal layouts. Cool. Did it get stuck in horizontal? There it goes. Okay. Like we said, very basic app. I'm curious if these tests do anything. Why don't we try to run those? Oh, this doesn't even have test. What if I right click test? Let's see if I see a test in here. Don't even see a test. That's probably why you can't run it. Main page. Wait. Oh my god, this whole time I was confused, guys. Did anyone catch that? I was like, well, there's no shared code. It's just this test folder and the Droid in the iOS folder. Test is the name of my freaking project, guys. Okay, so this is the shared code. Awesome. Okay, I knew there had to be some shared code. So it's using XAML for the UI. The forms are, it's like a version of XML that, actually, that's C#. I don't know why it's called app.xaml.c#, but it is. This is the XAML for the application. We've got the name of our app and any declared resources. Pretty much nothing in here. It tells us what the class, the .app class is. I don't know. Oh yeah, maybe that .app is in here. Nope, that's main activity. And this one's main.cs. Let's see what main activity, if it has an app. Main activity. No application, just the activity. Namespace activity. Interesting. I can zoom in for you guys. Too much. All right. So let's look first at the main page then. So this is where that text comes from. You can put your controls here, it says. How is there graphic editor? There's a toolbox. I can't just throw a button on here. Is it as simple as that? We'll say button. Push me. I'll keep the typo there. And I'm going to switch to Android. Let me see if Android's faster. All right, we get a button. Cool. And just as the button have a handler of some sort. So this is like going back in time using XML layouts to build your UI. We'll see what the Maui like tools are like, but I would not be looking forward to building an app in this day and age like XML. It's not fun. Do they have a preview? Just the source. Okay. But yeah, this is shared code. The app specific or client specific code is here. So Androids have activities and iOS have, I'd say UI applications. There you go. All right. the next bit I wanted to try was compare to a Maui app. So let's open up one of those. So I created one earlier using the new project UI that I showed you guys, and it's here. I think I just called it app one, or no, that's a different one. Sorry, it's where did I put it? It would be under not .NET or not Writer. It would be under the Visual Studio one. Where does it put the Visual Studio? Here it is. It's under projects. Close project. Okay. So this is going to be I already forgot what it stands for. A Microsoft I closed the page I wanted to have open. So .NET MAUI is .NET multi-platform, so multi-app UI, multi-app UI, multi-platform app UI. Got it. Cool. So I have the word test in my name again, so let's not get confused on that one. All right, so this is looking different. We've got connected services, nothing. We've got some .NET dependencies. So this uses .NET for Android, .NET for iOS, .NET Mac Catalyst. Under platforms, we have Android, iOS, Mac Catalyst, Tizen, and Windows. So we've already got more platforms out of the box. And we got a properties file with some launch settings. Doesn't tell us much. No native debugging. Resources. So we've got our app icon. How can you not view an SVG? I'm not happy with Mac Visual Studio Code. This is kind of bad. Like, do you guys know what this looks like? Can you? It's like the Matrix. You just look at the code and you visualize it. Can you tell what this SVG is? Viewer. It says .NET. It's all white too. All right. SVG for the win. Fonts. Got some fonts in here. Open source versions of Sans. We've got a .NET bot image. Ooh, another cool thing. I'm not going to look at that one. Some raw assets, about text. I guess there's some about text they have somewhere. Well, let's go ahead and run it and see what it actually looks like. We've got a splash screen, another SVG. We've got some styles. We've got some colors defined in XAML, styles in XAML. I'm okay with using XML for styles and colors. Let's see if their UI is still XAML. Ooh, uh-oh. Looks like it might be. Nope, that's not the UI. That's good. Oh, here it is. Ew. Okay. So it looks like their UI includes a button with some text that says click count times. All right, so here it is. It says, hello world, welcome to .NET. You really need to make these things easier to resize. Welcome to .NET multi-platform app UI. It's a cool little robot. Clicked, and it says clicked 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So that's this code we're seeing here. This is a function which is called from where. Cool, so now we see some shared functionality, I think. This is under just the main page. And this function is called from where. Let's see if there's a way. So usually, this is why I want to go to writer, because I'm trying to click into the function to see where it's called from. Navigate to find references, base symbols, derived symbols, extensions, member overloads. No, implementing members. No, calling. I wonder who's calling you. Find references. Nope. Who's calling you? Run to cursor. What does run to cursor mean? Nope. Oh, run the app to the cursor. That's a cool feature, but not something I need right now. Now it's mad. I broke it. All right, now I ran it. Okay, it's happy again. Navigate, find references, base symbols, derived symbols, extension methods, member. None of those. Go to implementation. I keep clicking stuff. It's not go to implementation. It's go to callers. Find all references. There we go. It might be in the XAML. Let's look at the XAML. So that's the XAML.cs, C#, and this is the XAML.xaml. It must just be in here then. It's weird that I can't find this. I guess because it's not code. Yep, on counter clicked. So this is old school UI development. It's like this is non-declarative UI. This is yeah, so you use XML to define your UI layout, and then you give it a function name for the handler on the click. And this doesn't even link back to the code, so you just have to search your files for it. That's so annoying. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so this says there's a button. It gets the name from, I'm guessing this is the property name right here. No, that's the name of the button itself. Oh, yeah, that's the name of the button. Okay, the text starts out as click me. So that sucks because they have some of the text in the XML and then they have the other text here. So that's not great. It gives you semantic hints. That's the function it calls when it's clicked. Okie dokie. All right, so what are we working with here? I know it's XML, but so there's something called a content page. All right, this is the main page class, so that corresponds with where we're at. If we go to this, yep, if we go to the C#, there's a partial class called main page. I guess that's like abstract. I come from the Java world. Look, to be fair, I started in .NET, but I haven't touched it in a while. All right, and then inside of that, there's a scroll view, which I don't think we actually saw because who scrolls? There's nothing to scroll. And a vertical stack layout. So it's a column, another way to say a column, with an image, a label, another label, and a button. So image, label, label, button. Cool. It is what it is. All right, so that's the shared code, shared form, whatever you want to call it. It's not a Xamarin Form anymore, but it's a content page. All right, and then what is this? This is the program class. So this must be what hooks everything up. So in Xamarin, we saw this. I have it closed now, but there was some connecting code like this. All right, so this is the outer class. Maui program has a Maui app. It looks like a factory called Create Maui App. Uses a builder. It's creating a builder for the app. So this builder, use Maui app. What is that? Hey, that actually took me somewhere. Great. Use Maui app. Ooh, that took me somewhere weird. It's in the library. So this is in Microsoft Maui controls.xml or XAML. Sure, whatever. It's building the app. Okay. Configure fonts. So it sets up the fonts. And if it's debug, it adds debug logging, else just returns. All right, so there's basic setting up of the app. I guess that's how they do it. Sure. And do we have any native code? So this was all under top level. And then we have the Android code here. So we've got an Android manifest XML, so that's cool. We know about that. iOS, they're going to have a plist and an app delegate. Cool. In C# though. Also calls create Maui app. Let's look at the Android one. So that'd be the main activity. Main activity should have something like that. So it just extends the Maui app, or implements the Maui app compat activity, which again is in a library that we cannot see. I don't find this to be a very handy way to view source code. Maybe it's just me, but I wonder if Writer would actually show it like I was navigating the real code. Like, can I just open this? Only members, only members. There's the constructor, on back pressed, on request permission results. Okay, so it just says, hey, I'm a Maui app. Nothing Android specific here. Okay, it uses a theme, so it has a style. Under resources, values, colors. Where's the colors? That doesn't open. Why doesn't that open? There it goes, right? So it's got, nope, that's the P list again. Oh, there's the colors. Primary dark color. Okay. I don't know where the style came from. Oh, it must be another library. Where's shared? At style. I can't get to that. Main launcher equals true. So it just means that you'll get an icon on your home screen. Configuration changes equals, screen size, orientation, UI mode. So this basically means anytime one of these things change, recalculate your UI, and you'll lose state. I recently learned you don't have to do that. You can turn that off, but every Android app I usually work on, you rotate the screen, lose everything. Obviously, there's ways of saving state, but that was always a pain with Android development, and you don't actually have to do that. All right, main application. Did we look at this? So the main activity and application. So this makes more sense to me. Android actually has an application, because in a real Android app, you're going to have an Android application. So it's weird that Xamarin didn't have that, but okay. So we actually have a main app, but it takes some weird stuff. It takes a handle, an int pointer handle, what the heck, and a JNI handle ownership. Something to do with the Java runner, or runtime. I don't know. But anyways, you create the Maui app. Here it is. So create Maui app is in main application on Android, and on iOS, it was in app delegate, right? App delegate. So that's the equivalent on iOS. And program.cs is the equivalent to the activity, maybe. If you want to use a different application delegate class from app delegate, you can specify it here. This is their main function, where our main function is in here. Well, our main activity. Cool. All right, these are very basic apps. Let's switch gears here. Let's find a more advanced app. So where would we do that? Well, first off, I want to find a more advanced Xamarin app, a Xamarin Forms app. And then I'm going to try to convert it. Xamarin Forms open source demo, something like that. Sample apps. There we go. This is the one I looked at earlier today. This is what I looked at earlier today. So these seem to explore certain things. So native forms, a sample demonstrates how to consume Xamarin Forms content pages in native Xamarin iOS and Android and Universal Windows. So this might show us how to use native libraries, which would be a good thing to check. I want to start simpler though. So this would be like a switch, messaging. I wonder if that's like notifications or something. Working with files. All this is stuff I want to work on converting. And we'll do this, but I want to take something more basic. A sample demonstration of how to use the Xamarin Forms grid UI. Great. So this is should just be shared logic, hopefully. Oh, it's a calculator. Beautiful. let's check this out. Wait, where's the actual demo? Oh, for more information on the sample, see some reforms grid, alignment nested to obtain the best possible layout, rows, columns. Sure. I just want to check it out. Is it part of a larger demo package? Looks like it's part of something called Xamarin Forms samples. But is this just a standalone? Yeah, there's a solution and everything. So I should just be able to check out this directory, right? I suppose I could check out the whole thing. Let's just do that. I don't think I have the CLI installed. Brew, install, GitHub. Did it find it? Yeah, I did. All right, and GH login? No. GH auth? GH. What is GH? Unknown command login. Auth. It is auth. All right, GH auth. GH auth what? It's GH auth login. See? I knew I've done this before. We'll use github.com. I would like to use SSH, but I don't know if it's set up. Let's try it. Generate a new key? Yes, why don't you? Enter a passphrase. What's my passphrase? We're going to use a secret, guys. A secret passphrase. Give me a sec. Okay, got it. Title your SSH key for GitHub CLI. Oh, GitHub CLI. We'll call this M2 GH CLI. Login with web browser. Press enter to open github.com. And then just ask me for this, which I have. Oops. Which is refreshing. My copy paste isn't working, so I have to type it. And that's longer than it should be. What the heck? Did it like email me a code instead? Oh, I'm supposed to put in this code. I'll use my 2FA. Okay, cool. Get it. Authorization was requested. Hey, that's my IP. Thank you. Just this one, please. Okay. Use passkey. I don't know what happened to my passkey. It might be on my other Mac. I'll just use my authenticator. Okay, we're back. It says you're all set up. Is that true? It is. We are logged in as Randroid 88. Okay. We're gonna check something out. So we'll go to, we'll go to projects, CD projects, and then can we just dump it here? Oops, not that. This guy. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? This key is not known. It should be known. Type yes. Okay, I did. Enter passphrase. Oh, okay, I can do that. I can do that. I literally just set that. Oops. Cool. Cool. And let's look what the folder looks like. There we go. Xamarin Form samples. We're back up and running. All right, now let's open Xamarin Form samples and find the UI sample that we were looking at earlier. UI, user interface. It was like grid or something, right? Grid. Where was it? Let's go back. Not that one. Let's go back. Grid demo. Oh, layout. It's in the layout. Okay. And grid demos. There we go. There's the solution. Let's see how this works. This project grid demos.android requires Android SDK modes that are not currently installed. Well, we could probably upgrade those, but let's go ahead and get the old ones. Platform 29. Sure. That's only 7 years old. Android Q. Android API 29 release date. Okay, I exaggerated. It's only 3 years old. Cool. Let's try to run it. This is the Android version. And we got an error. Okay, what do you expect? Pulling random project off the internet. Metadata file something something. Could not find a DLL. Okay, well, looks like build errors may be fixed by building MS Build on Mono. Let's do it. Enable MS Build on Mono. Don't know what it is, but let's do it. MS Build on Mono. Oh, right. So we're on Visual Studio for Mac, which has to use Mono, the Mac or Linux version of .NET Tools. Visual Studio for Mac is scheduled for retirement in accordance with Microsoft's modern lifecycle policy. While you can continue to work with Visual Studio for Mac, there are several other options for developers on Mac, such as the preview version of C# DevKit extension for Visual Studio Code. Ew. Sorry, a lot of people love it, but it's just like a very customizable editor. It's not IDE. Is that why app code is dying too? No. Everyone's just like not supporting Mac anymore, man. Still got a year, but that sucks. What does this look like? Maybe we'll do a video on that plugin. I wonder if they even mention Writer. They don't. That's so sad. Why would you not mention Writer? JetBrains, Writer, Visual Studio code for Mac. Here it goes. JetBrains Writer welcomes Visual Studio for Mac users with 65% discount on new personal subscriptions. Microsoft has just announced their plans to retire Visual Studio for Mac. We realize that this news comes as a shock to some of you. When was this, August? You're losing the tool you came to rely on, but if you're reading this post, it's probably because your fellow .NET developers steered you in the direction of good alternatives. If you want to buy truly cross-platform .NET IDE which delivers the same powerful toolset and great performance on any OS, look no further than JetBrains Writer. Check out the exciting features shipped in the latest major release. Let's do that. I'm definitely going to switch to Writer now. I'm glad I have both, but you know what? It seems like they're not even supporting Visual Studio for Mac anymore, so I'm done with you. Improved support for C# featuring new inspections for working with local functions and raw strings, as well as for resolving common entity framework issues. We've made a host of improvements to UI, finalizing the new look for the IDE, which is sleek, modern, highly customizable. Game development using Writer received another boost with updates to the dots functionality for Unity. Boo! Boo Unity. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. Blueprint indexing for Unreal. Okay, that's good. Along with numerous other enhancements. Writer 2023.2 is also the first version of the IDE to offer AI-powered features. All right, guys. JetBrains AI Assistant. Let's see how good it is. We're going to open Writer. We're going to do it. We're going to be done with this project. Bye, Visual Studio for Mac. Nobody liked you. Hello, Writer. Can you please go full screen? What are you doing? All right. Open. Oh, we just hit the hour mark. Randroid's coding hour is over. Well, let's do a little overtime for all you fans out there. But let's see. Let's get this going. We're in projects. Maui test or no? This one. Come on, say it with me. User interface. Where to go? User interface, and then what's in the user interface? It's a grid demo. No, layout. Grid demos, and then we can open this, right? Trust an open grid demo solution. I trust you. Trust you, bro. That double click worked. Cool. Got the README showing up right away. Look at it. They have graphics. Visual Studio for Mac didn't have graphics. Let me see if it renders the SVGs. If this thing renders SVGs, I'm sold. I mean, like, why would you use anything else? Well, it's got PNGs, so. And it has, I might even use SVGs. No, it's probably just the Xamarin one. What about the XML UI? What? Don't tell me you're going to visualize it for me. Yeah! Look at that. It's actually showing me the XML layout. Visual Studio for Mac. How dare you be so lame. Writer detects naming conventions in open solutions and updates settings accordingly. Click Configure to change. Yep. So C# convention is to uppercase everything like that. So what did they do? What's the problem? Right here. Global. Oh, they're just saying we don't need this. It's redundant. Look at that. I know the shortcuts. So in JetBrains, you can do this little light bulb here. It will tell you if you want to fix warnings like that. Yeah, just Option Enter on it, and then boom, remove redundant qualifier. Done. Code's better already, guys. I should commit this. I should do a pull request on this open source code. If I get 100 likes on this video, I will do a pull request. All right. What else we got? We were going to run it. So we got the any CPU thing. Let's see if that works. I think the any CPU thing works for Android. But when we have to run iOS, we have to be more specific for some reason. Ooh, what is this icon? Configure highlighting level. Hints, suggestions, warnings, errors, index, inlay information, style inspections. I want it all. Give me all your suggestions. Give me your XAML suggestions, whatever. Isn't this so much more visually appealing too? Maybe just teach your own. You know what I haven't seen in a while? What are those? What are those? I've been in the Kotlin world. So seeing one of these guys, a little semicolon. Yeah. That sucks. I remember when C# was the new kid on the block. Long time ago. Install succeeded. Hey, we got a grid demo. Let's do the basic grid demo. Cool. Cool. C#. Oh, XAML over C#. What the heck? Grid spacing demo. Nested grids demo. It's the grids demo on XAML. Okay, what is the difference between XAML and C# versions? I'm very curious. Let's look at this. So we're looking at Android, or no, we're looking at the cross-platform one. Views, code, XAML. Okay, so these are the code versions, these are XAML versions. Sweet, so we learned you don't have to do XAML. Let's look at the code one. It's declarative. Look at that, guys. Maybe it's not quite like, you know, Kotlin Compose or anything, but or Jetpack Compose, but it. I'll zoom out. Sorry, it's just like way too big. What the heck? Oh, this is I must have remapped this. That's kind of cool, but or maybe I didn't remap. But what I want to do is a zoom. But it looks like I have to pinch to zoom, but it doesn't stay zoomed. It doesn't stay zoomed. All right, so this is a cool one. You can do actions. So from anywhere, you just like Shift Command A, and you start typing whatever you want to do. In this case, let's say I want to close this left side project window. I know the command for that, but you could just look project pane or project window. I think it's called project. What do they call this? Oh, it's not called project. We're in .NET, guys. Close solution. No, I don't want to close the solution. I want to close the UI. I don't actually know what this is called. Explore. Okay, we're gonna look. Explore. It's command 1, but command 1, whatever. Action. Okay, I want to change this font size. So font, decrease font size. Okay, so I could just do. There's no shortcut for it. You have to go to View, Active Editor, or this. I think I would like a shortcut for this, but I kind of like the shortcut they have mapped to the thing I normally map to. We'll do it this way. View. Where was it? Decrease. Oh, they do have a shortcut. Yay! Control up. Control up, comma. Control up, comma. You have to press them all at the same time. That's a terrible key map. It's also mapped to something else. Yeah, it's not going to work. So you can then do an action to bring up your key map. So key map preferences, and then from here we could say font. Decrease font size in all editors. Does that, yeah, it probably means if I open another file, it would also be that way. So let's change this, you know, let's see. Let's go with, instead of command minus, let's go shift command minus, which is used by collapse all. So I don't want to, see, I like that collapse all. That's pretty good. What about shift command down? That's used by move statement. No, we love that one. We're not going to left. Nope, that's the caret move. What if I do control minus? Hey, control minus. We're doing control minus, and then for increase font size, we'll do control plus. Oh, control equals. That's fine. That's fine. It looks like a plus to me on my keyboard. We'll go with equals. All right. How's that, guys? Good size? Good size? No. Okay. All right, I'm getting a little loopy. Let's end this soon. But this is cool. This is a very cool example because it shows us we can do UI in code. All right. So let's just break this example down. This is a basic grid page in CS. So the C# version of this XAML. This is what it looks like. It's a content page with a grid and rows and columns and boxes and labels and more boxes and labels inside of those grids. As C#, it looks like a grid object, which, ooh, is that a lambda? See? This is cool. Okay, so it has a private children. Ooh, what am I looking at here? How does this lambda work? Is this like a modern C# thing? Oh my gosh. So this constructor, new grid element collection using internal children, this parent, this platform configuration. These are all private. Configuration registry, new lazy platform configuration grid, value factory. It's probably this guy, maybe. New platform configuration grid, this. What are we passing in? We're passing in row definitions. Let me click this. Okay, so it took me here. Oh, this is inside a grid. Okay, wait, what? When I went to grid here, this constructor, grid.cs, there's just like a, oh, XAML.for is the namespace. Okay, I got confused. All right, let's go back. All right, so this lambda has row definitions in it. Row definitions. I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, it's just a property on a grid. Right? Yeah, just a property on a grid. Is it because it's a partial class? Okay, we'll dig into that later. That syntax is a little weird to me. IL code. By the way, this is what I was trying to talk about earlier. See how this actually reads the freaking DLL or the binary or the library that's pulling in? Like grid.cs is from Xamarin Forms, which is a library, which is imported. This is not my code. This is a dependency somewhere in here, right? In Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio for Mac, I couldn't see this. I had just that weird view when I was looking at. Anyways, whatever. We're done with that. We're done with that program. Okay. Here we pass in rows, and then you create a new row definition, which you include the height. I'm curious how they do sizing. So they give it a grid length, 2 star units. What the heck is a star unit? Another row. The grid length. Are they dynamically sizing anything? How does this work? Row 0, the box view and label are in row 0 and column 0, so only needs to be added to the grid children collection to get the default row and column settings. Okay. Anyways, my plan is, this is good because we can see how to convert XAML versus like UI and code to Maui. So this is all a Xamarin app, right? How do you do a conversion from Forms to Maui? So we'll dive into this more in the next stream that we do on this, but the hint is follow these guides. Oh, interesting. OpenGL has been removed since iOS doesn't support OpenTK, whatever that is. WatchOS doesn't support or recommends bundle Swift extensions with .NET for iOS apps. But you can still do Metal. That's cool. Alright, but we want to do Xamarin Forms, so we should follow this guide. Upgrading a multi-project Xamarin Forms app to a multi-project.NET multi-platform app UI.NET MAUI apps follows the same steps as a Xamarin Android and Xamarin iOS project with additional steps to take advantage of changes in .NET MAUI. Okay, so I don't know if we need to read these guides first or not. This article describes how to manage and migrate a Xamarin Forms library project to a .NET MAUI library project. Before you do this, you must update your Xamarin.Forms platform projects to be SDK-style projects. Interesting. SDK-style projects are the same project format used by all .NET workloads, and compared to many Xamarin projects, are much less verbose. For information about updating your app projects, see Upgrade Xamarin Android, Xamarin Android project migration, and Xamarin Apple project migration. To migrate a Xamarin.Forms library project to a .NET MAUI library project, you must update your Xamarin.Forms app to Xamarin Forms.5. Ooh, what forms are we using? Where would that be? It's probably in dependencies. .NET Standard 2, no. Imports. We know we got forms. We saw that. In the grid. Oops, I'll close it. Mono Android packages. Xamarin Forms.5. Yay. Okay. We're in .5. Update the app's dependencies to the latest versions. I think we got a warning about the dependencies being outdated. Where did that warning go? Was it here? No. Where was that? Was there a build step? Oh, is it this guy? Problems? Oops. All solution. Server side. Toolset. Restore failed. MS Build is incompatible with .NET SDK. .NET SDK 7 requires MS Build 17 before and above current MS Build. This can cause build issues. Select different MS Build and writer options. Install .NET Core or Mono to develop .NET applications. So I want to update to .NET SDK 7 requires MS Build 17.4. Okay. .NET SDK 7. Current MS Build is 16. So I want to upgrade. So where's this coming from? Okay, nowhere. Must be like the build tools. Install .NET Core Mono and develop .NET applications. Yeah, so this is just old. How do I get the new one? Unable to update Visual Studio Xamarin SDK, use Visual Studio Installer instead. Interesting. So when we had opened this project, the grid demos, is this what gave us the warning about outdated libraries? It might have been this one, not prior. I don't remember. Analyze source. Fix formatting. There we go, one update. Let's see what updates we have. Xamarin.Forms 5. Okay, we can do that. Not exactly the one we're looking for. But let's go ahead and update that one first. And then there's one here as well. Or is that the one I did? Let's see. Yeah, so just updated. Update. Accept. So how do we update .NET 7? What was it? 17? Something like that. I don't know what this error is, but I don't care about UWP right now. So Windows apps. Where does our dependency say anything about .NET? References, mono. It was MS Build or something like that. Let's see if there's a help for this. Update software for iPhone, software update settings, update printer, Mac. Nope. Visual Studio updates .NET MS Build 17. MS Build is installed. Current folder. How do I upgrade this guy? Microsoft Build Engine is a platform for building applications. This engine, which is also known as MS Build, provides an XML schema for a project file that controls how the build platform processes and builds software. Visual Studio uses MS Build, but MS Build doesn't depend on Visual Studio. By invoking msbuild.exe or .NET, let's go to the downloads page. Downloads, Visual Studio for Mac. Mac OS, all downloads, MS Build. How to update MS Build in Visual Studio for Mac. Let's see if AI can help us here. Go to Visual Studio and select Check for Updates. If an update is available, it will start downloading. You think it's that easy? You think I didn't try that? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't try that. What is available? This is Mono Framework. And then Mac. Don't actually see. Boing, 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 boing. Why do you want my password? I have a key. Hello? There. Whoa. Whoa, that was crazy. Have you guys ever seen one of these UB keys? You're supposed to just tap it and then it will like recognize you as like being you, you know, because you're the one that owns that key. I don't know. And then you only have to put in your PIN, but now I still have to put in my password. And for some reason I have a dumb password on my Mac. I don't know why I don't just reset it. Something simpler. There we go. Here we go. Sudo port install MS Build. The build platform.NET Visual Studio, the Microsoft Build Engine for build applications. Let's see, Mac. Building MS Build in Mac and Linux. MS Build can run on Unix systems that support .NET Core. Setup instructions can be viewed. Building, testing, debugging .NET Core. Windows, Unix. The latest .NET Core SDK for .NET Core. This will ensure prerequisites. Manually install and record package for OS 10. OpenSSL. MS Build uses the .NET CLI during its build process. The CLI requires a recent OpenSSL. This can be downloaded with Brew. Apt-get install. If you use a different package manager, see an error. Okay, that's fine. Something's wrong in my build test. Debugging. Huh? Build CMD. Install the latest .NET Core SDK. Okay, so I just install this. .NET 7. Using Visual Studio for Mac. This release is only compatible with Visual Studio 2022 for Mac, using a different version. Visual Studio for Mac.NET support. Download direct link. Ooh, I may regret this, but let's see if that works. I'm gonna install it. This is not 7 though. The thing we were looking for had MS Build 17, and I don't know. It keeps asking me for my password. Don't do that. Alright. They really don't want you to use a Mac for Microsoft stuff. That's what I'm realizing. Okay, let's see if that actually did anything. We're gonna open up a writer again. Is there like a command I can run to check that this works? Verify installation. When the installer completes, open a new terminal, run .net. .net. Not found. .net. It's not added to the path. Mac.net add to path. Extract the downloads file and use the export command to set .NET root to the extracted files location, and then ensure .NET is in path. Distributed launch failures, .NET root, echo .NET, what was it? .NET root. Not there. Now we're done. If you're install location, the default location for Windows is the default location for Windows is here. This default location on Linux varies depending on distro. CD there. Hey, there it is. And is there a bin in here? .NET. Nope. Do you see? It's right here. .NET. There it is. Weird. So I want to put this in my path. So I was doing this earlier with Android Home, so we could do it here too. We say, well, let's do this one first. Let's do, so like we did Android Home like this. We'll do .NET root. .NET root, and we'll shift that path to user local share.net, and then we'll do source, we'll do .net. Oh, it's still not on the path, but let's open Z shell. Oops. shrc. Alright, so it is there. Let's add the path bits. Just doing Control R to search through my history, and I called this earlier. You can also type. So I can do Control R and then just type exports. There we go. Export path. So in this case, we want path colon to add a new path. We want so that would put the original path there with the $sign. It just gets the original value of path, adds it to the new path, export. But this time we're going to add an additional thing, which is .NET root. Oops, I messed up. R path. I deleted too much. I still want this arrow to the Z shell profile. Alright, path.net roots. Cool. And then we'll do. I did that wrong. Alright, so the one thing I hate about this is it expands path. So I don't want to expand path. So I'm going to change that. There we go. That's what I wanted. if anyone knows what command I could, what echo I could use to not expand the path, please let me know, because this is so annoying when that happens. Oh, even this one got expanded. I don't want that one to get expanded either. I just want it to be .NET root. All right, you're probably asking, if you don't know about this, why are we doing that? Well, because when I call, if I go just to a random directory and I call .NET, nothing happens, right? .NET, nothing happens. But if I reopen the terminal or reload it using this command, now if I run .NET, it knows about .NET. So it's basically running an executable, or putting the path to the executable in my terminal. Okay, great. Now we have .NET, but we want to know what version of MS Builds. Check version of MS Builds terminal. The current version of MS Build is 16. Well, that's a lie. Define the M executable current bin. Yeah, well, that's not right. On Mac. The Microsoft Build Locator package contains symbols. What? I need something. How is that crazy? All right, here we go. Microsoft.build. Where is this? The NuGet package. This might have been what I wanted the whole time. Not there. Where's the NuGet packages? Dependencies, packages, Xamarin Forms. Maybe it's under this one. Imports. Nope. Well, it tells me here. Select different MS build. Here we go. Auto detected 16. We want 17. There it is. And notice it comes from .NET 7, which I just installed and added to my path. Beautiful. Okay, restore failed. I don't know what it's trying to restore. Universal Windows Platform IC is required to load. I don't care about that one. Restore failed. I don't know what that means. Project loading warning. Xamarin SDK not found. Xamarin SDK is required to load grids but not found. Install Xamarin SDK. Which one is it missing? You mean this one? It's literally there. What do I need to? So in Java land, you would kill your Gradle cache or something. Do they have anything similar? File. No, they don't. Oh, invalidate cache. Yeah, let's do this. Clear system cache and local history. Clear VCS log. Delete embedded browser engine. Whatever. Oh, I still have these black bars on the screen from the other day. Didn't realize that, sorry. Boom, gone. Okay, less warnings. Oh, nope, I spoke too soon. Yeah, I can't find this. I guess I need a different version to go with the new .NET. So where would that version be? Mono executable is version 6. Does that need to be different? Tools and build, language and frameworks. Android SDK is here, but not the Xamarin one. C# Interactive. Nothing about Xamarin, huh? Tools, maybe? XAML preview. Xamarin.Android. Preserve data cache between application deploys. Use managed design. Okay. Android SDK. Install new. An existing Android SDK was detected. The setup was a roll and download missing or outdated SDKs. Hot reload, don't care, custom tools, Android design. Writer Xamarin. Yeah, I wonder if it's just not compatible with. I'm gonna try to run, but yeah, it doesn't know how to. Xamarin SDK is required. MS Build 17 Mono Android SDK is required. Installs with incompatible MS Build version. Looks like the bundled version MS Build does not work with VS. When operating solution, VS reports the following error. I'm to find SDK. SDK not found, version 6.net. SDK required at least version 17. The current available version of 16. Changing the .NET SDK specifying global version to older version that requires MS Build version currently available. Hardware. If you have a mix of .NET Class and Classic Project and Solution, you may have problems building the solution with .NET 6 SDK installed. To build the Classic Project's MS Build on Mono has to be used. However, that does not support .NET 6.3, so .NET SDK downgrade. Possible workarounds. Install .NET 6 SDK with MS Build on Mono supports. Solution options. Build general unchecked build with MS Build on Mono, which we found we needed that. Solution options. Build general. I'm guessing that's Visual Studio. NuGet. Build solution. Rebuild solution. Clean solution. Build solution with diagnostics. Build. Does the path exist in our system? Does it contain Xamarin directory? Okay, let's look for that. CD library, frameworks, mono, external, CDX build, CD Xamarin, and then Xamarin. Okay, so I need to use this. Well, let's change this back then. Settings, .NET. Where was it? Core. No, MS Build. That's what I wanted. MS Build. Interactive tool. Where is MS Build set? We just set it. It's the Android one, .NET, .NET cover, .NET. Where was it? Toolset and build. There it is. We can go back to. We want mono. Is what we want. Mono framework. This is the one we want. But it's so damn old. Alright, now it's installing Android SDK. Okay. Alright, so that essentially took us down a bad path. So the reason we were doing that, let's rewind a bit. Let's go back to where we were. We did all this because we were trying to go through the update steps, the upgrade steps. So we go back here. So you want to upgrade Xamarin. Update your project file to SDK style. That we might just have to do that part first. Update or replace incompatible dependencies with .NET 7 versions. Compile and test your app. In Visual Studio, create a new .NET project for the same type and name as your Xamarin native project. For example, to upgrade from Xamarin.Android to .NET Android, select the Android application project template. Okay, so we might just have to walk through these steps first. Yeah, this still didn't even work. I basically borked it. That's fine. It's still confused about where to get this. All right, I think we should follow these steps though. Make a new project. Make sure you have the .NET SDK style project. The target framework moniker, TFM, is what denotes the project is using .NET. This thing? In this case, .NET 7. Valid TFMs for equivalent Xamarin native projects are .NET 7.0 Android. Oh, it's this guy. .NET 7.0 iOS, .NET 7 macOS, .NET 7 tvOS. Copy your code and resource files from the folders of your Xamarin native app to identical folders within your app. You should overwrite any files of the same name. Okay, well, you know what we're going to do, believe it or not, we're going to roll back. So this is a Git project. I'm going to kill this, and we had checked out this project, so why don't we go to home. And where was this projects? CD projects. This was in the Xamarin Forms thing. CD Xamarin Forms. And this whole thing needs to be reset. So we can go get reset -- hard. Doesn't like it. I could just do git. What am I talking about? Git. Yeah, git's here. Okay, git reset -- hard. I don't need GitHub for that. And head is now back to what it was. Cool. Now if we open up Writer, let's see if it gives us trouble. So far so good. Let's look at, make sure nothing's red here. Great. I think we're back to working. So if we were to follow this, we would, we're not going to do the full thing right now, but just to get us started, we'd open up Visual Studio Code, or Visual Studio Mac. And we would choose Android project, Android application. I wonder if we actually want to do a .NET MAUI. We'll see. We'll see what our options are. So we could just do Android app. Android app. Pretty simple Android app. We could do MAUI, multi-platform. link app. Why don't we start with just Android, like these instructions say. C#. Alright, we'll call this form, we'll call this grid demo Android .NET. No, what do we call this? Maui Android? .NET Android? .NET Android. Modern development, latest and greatest. Let's do modern, I don't know. Alright, theme, sure. .NET project, put project files in a subfolder, sure. Okay, the new project should be given the same project and package name as your existing. We don't really care about that in our case. Let's see if we can find this file though. Looks like I might not have that style. How can I find that project file? Properties. What is this file? What is this XAML? Target framework? Can we look at properties? Main settings, general, .NET naming, XAML document, standard and general version control. Nope. Where's I got project settings, project, edit project file. Is this it? It's totally different if it is. Target framework. Target framework. Oh, okay. Tools, assemble browser, sticky manager, preferences, no project, active configuration, default manage NuGet packages, properties, convert solution format. Let's see what that does. Did not give me an option like I thought it would. I wonder if it's because I'm using mono. Doesn't tell me you just have to do this on Windows. What am I missing here? About assets. There's like not a lot in this project, so why can I not find the one thing they said I should have? The target framework moniker. Yes. Launch the app to confirm their development environment can be built. Where is this? Seriously. Where is project? Where to find on Windows machine investigator properties. Target files can be found on Mac. Installed. I'm able to find SDK Microsoft.NET SDK in Visual Studio from Mac. .NET SDK locations. Where's your project XML? Where is the project XML in .NET 7 Visual Studio for Mac? It's published. Select MXL file in the templates pane and click open. Files opened. Publish profiles, understand the project file. I think this is it, right? Ooh, that looks so dated. Project, property group, target. This might be it. Where is this though? Root element of every project. So maybe it was this file. Like if we just look at this. Oh, it's the wrong one. Go to not applications, not shared, not documents, not recent, home. Go to home, go to projects, go to not Xamarin. Go to this one. Maybe it was that one. Text edits. Yeah, this is what we were looking at before. Does it say anything about the framework? Doesn't look like it. Was it this? Ah. Target. There we blow. Okay, found it. Why does this not show up in Visual Studio? Okay, let's compare. They said ours should look like this. Project SDK equals. I think we already don't have that. We have project default targets build. Yeah, what's already wrong? Property group, target framework, version, target framework version, not target framework. Yes, already is wrong. Are these just like steps just out of date, or is there actually another project type we should have used, like the Maui one? Or should we do a library? Should we have done Android library? Class library, multi-platform. Let's try multi-platform. Maui. .NET. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. This says project, doesn't say SDK again. Default targets build. Is that just not a thing anymore? Maybe it's in the common package. Let's go back. This one. There it is. Okay, this is .NET Standard 2.0. So this is what it should look like, but the Android and I'm guessing the iOS one look weird. Let's try one more option. I think we might want to make libraries. Maui.NET Android lib. Okay, this one is not SDK either. Alright, well, the only thing I can think of is a try on Windows. It just feels like this is totally wrong. Like we're already off to a bad start. Like this is the most basic step that I would almost want to just skip over, but it's just doesn't, it's not the same. Like if you read these verbatim, it says in Visual Studio create a new .NET project for the same type and name as your Xamarin native project. Oh, because it's a native project, guys. We want forms. Let's see. Still, that doesn't make sense. There should be a way to do get that same project settings from the new project. Xamarin Android project migration. Then the said project for .NET Android app is similar to the following example. Yeah, still says you should have this for a library project. Omit the output type. There's no support for configuration files such as dll.config in .NET Android projects. Configuration elements aren't supported in the .NET Core at all. Other element types for compatibility packages like System Configuration Manager have never been supported in Android project. That shouldn't be used. Changed Android manifest. Okay, it's a lot of details here, but there isn't just like a one-stop shop for converting your project. That's annoying. Update your Xamarin.Forms. Create a new project in the Visual Studio. Create a new Maui class library of the same name as your Xamarin Forms library. This project will host the code from your Xamarin Forms library project. Opening the project file will confirm that you have .NET SDK style project. Okay. Opening the project file. This is what we have. Oh, but we don't have all these. So when we created I think the closest we got is when we created the Maui one, which was not this one. Not this one. Go to recent. What was it? This one? .NET Maui Android Lib? No. .NET Maui iOS. .NET. Yeah, maybe it was this one. Whatever, I'll just go back to home projects. I'm going to delete all these, but Maui.NET Android Lib, no, Maui.NET, I think it was this one. So the closest we got was this guy. Oops. But it only lists .NET Standards, the target framework. If you want Android, that was here. Target framework version. Actually, it's not there at all. Like, I don't know why this is not getting set, basically. It's not here. It's not here. Close all of these. Not here. Not here. Not here. Properties, maybe. No. .NET MUI class library. Okay, so is that another option we just didn't see? Let's try one more time. New Maui library. Continue. And then how do I choose Android and all that? Because that's not here. Maui, what do they call this? Oops, we're at 2 hours. Funny how that happens. All right, well, we're gonna just probably call it Yeah, so this one is not SDK, and the target framework version is there, but not the actual target framework. If we go to this one, yeah, it really doesn't say anything about iOS, Android, any of that. But I suppose we could add it. Yeah, it's just like there's nothing about SDK here. There's that, but that's not it. Weird. It wasn't this thing, right? No, it wasn't that. Yeah, so this is like, where the heck does this even come from? The project will host the code from the Xamarin.Forms library project. Open the project file. We'll confirm that you have the .NET style project. Yeah, my only thing is thinking maybe Android or Windows would create this. Yeah, I think it's the next thing we should try. Not today, but all right. So what did we learn? Well, we talked a lot in the beginning about the .NET worlds of cross-platform. You know, Xamarin, now Maui, and we learned that it's not super intuitive how to jump over to a Xamarin project or a Maui project from other cross-platform projects. I mean, there's some stuff we figured out. Obviously, we know where the shared code goes. We know where the UIs are declared. We saw a code version. We saw a XAML version. That was cool. But obviously, the tooling for Mac sucks, and Writer is going to be the future on Mac. But this not having the proper project creation tool, whatever, it's not creating the right project files is really annoying. I'm pretty sure if we did this on Windows, it would come out like they're saying here. Either that or this documentation is just old, which is always a possibility as well. But this is from September, so that's not likely. So they most likely wrote this for Windows. So we'll try it. We'll try it on Windows in a bit, maybe tomorrow. All right. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you did get through this, leave a like. Let me know you saw it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, you droidettes and droid dudes. Just kidding. Gotta come up with some slang, some saying for our channel. Bye. Play the exit music. Leave while you're still here. I said goodbye.